Hey everybody, Chris Swanson here, the Sheriff of Genesee County. I'm going to come at you a whole lot more now than ever before about what we're doing in here, because we want you to know that Genesee County is making a mark, not only in the state, but around the nation, by all the things that we're making happen. So I want you to meet some people that have been working with us for a long time, and we're going to expand their roles. Now, let me first introduce who they are, and then you're going to hear why they're here. So the first is John L. Allen. John L. was instrumental. Just most recently, he was featured with his partners on Good Morning America just 2 days ago by facilitating with our staff a process of voting for the incarcerated who have a constitutional right to vote, and bringing the ballots from here across the street and around the county to the clerk's office in order for ballots to be counted. So John L. and I have known each other for a long time, and I'll tell you why in a second. Next is Percy Glover. You saw Percy. He was right there in the beginning of Ignite on September 8th. This guy has got a master's degree. He's an educator. He's a business owner. And he's been right there with us and walking these steps with us, especially because of Ignite. Next is Cassandra. She's Alvin's wife, Cassandra Lincoln. Alvin next to her. I've known him for like 13 years. We've talked to over 22,000 students when we did a program you may have heard called Chasing the Dragon for the opiate crisis that hit our county and kids overdosing. Man, that guy's got a great story. He's featured in a DVD we did. Alvin Lathan, his wife Cassandra, who's not only a business owner, but a financial expert when it comes to financial wealth building. Next to Alvin is a dear friend of mine. I met him last year, Troy, and Troy Rienstra. Got you, man. I will tell you that that Troy is he's a quiet leader. And when we sat here last year, and Troy and a guy named Sherrod and Percy and John L. were here, they're like, hey, what are we doing right now to change incarceration? And I told them about Ignite, what's happening. And so they've seen this whole thing roll out. And so I want you to know why we're here, because this guy, not her, they all did time. In fact, these two guys right here, we just found out today they're multi-million-dollar inmates. That means the state of Michigan spent over $1 million housing these guys. But I want you to hear from them why we are partnered up, and why you will see them just in a second be deputized under Ignite with the power and authority of the sheriff's office to go into our community upstairs and outside and change incarceration through education. John L.?
Thank you. I appreciate that once again. I'm John L. Alvin. I'm here because of the fact that some years ago, decisions caused me to end up on the other side of the law. And so what's passionate to me is to be able to restore and educate and be able to create a mindset. The mindset is that anybody who's capable of tying their shoe is capable of learning. And if you're capable of learning, you can do anything. Yes. I'm a prime example. Every day I walk with my head up, knowing that without a doubt or contradiction, I'm going to do exactly what I need to do, and that's the right thing. And so we're excited because of the fact that we have started something here, and it's major because these are CAs. What are CAs? County Ambassadors. County Ambassadors is the name. Why is that so important? Because of the fact that we want to build the trust of not just the inmates, but staff as well as that community out there, to know that we're working for a cause, and the cause is that Genesee County is the greatest county in the world, because we're going to set the model to show the world how inmates, prison reform, jail reform has changed. Mm-hmm. The narrative is you are citizens, and we are going to teach everyone how to live dignity and respect with inclusiveness.
So let me just tell you, Ignite is inmate growth naturally and intentionally through education. And that's not only just teaching classes and GEDs and diplomas. We partner with Mount Moore schools. You know that. But we're talking about life.
Absolutely.
And so Troy right here, he did decades in prison.
Yes.
And while he was there, he did a lot of that time in a place he just said, and I'd love for you to share that story of when you had to be broke in order to build.
Yes,
and what you left behind that is still in place today through the prison.
Sure, thank you, Sheriff Swanson. I call him Coach. My name is Troy Rienstra. I'm the director of Nation Outside. We are focused on the civic engagement. There's a population of 3 million people who have convictions on their record in the state of Michigan alone. So I spent 22 years in prison. I most recently, the last 35 years of my life until 18 days ago when I completed a 4-year parole.
All right.
He's free from paper.
Love it.
So during my time, 7 years into my life sentence parolable that I was sentenced to, I spent 6 years in solitary confinement. And I found myself in a hole. How do you get out of that? Mine was faith. God asked me, where are you going to run to now? And so I had a number of questions with people who were a little bit further ahead of me while I was in prison to challenge my values, my beliefs, and my purpose for my life. And so that's one of the things that we hope to bring here to Genesee County Jail, and also send out a signal. We talk about ignite, the smoke signals and the embers that travel, and hopefully this is a fire that can spread from Genesee County. Ironically, I was born here in 1969. I have no knowledge of Flint whatsoever, but the chickens always comes home to the roost.
Yes.
God planted me where he wanted me rooted. So I'm here to work with this team, with Coach and the rest of the team here at the Genesee County Jail, because we believe giving the opportunity to people who have contributed to the problem are most likely and able to contribute to a solution.
That's right.
So we hope to be that anti-venom, so to speak,
That's right.
by what we left behind.
So that's Troy. I want to introduce you real quick because I don't want people to lose focus. At the end of this little talk, I'm going to tell you something that happened that is going to blow your mind. But before I get to that, Alvin and Cassandra, I worked with Alvin. I told you when Chasing the Dragon happened, he used to be a gangbanger in Chicago, converted his life, has been talking to inmates up here in Genesee County Jail for a long time. What's your role in Ignite and how you're going to do your part?
My name is Alvin Lincoln, and I am truly just blessed that my brother, John L., brought me on board. I started a program here in the Genesee County Jail with the blessings of Chris Swanson, my brother from another mother, some 11 years ago. And the name of it was IMP, the Inmate Mentoring Program. And I was here 5 days, sometimes 5 days a week, but my goal and my job is to educate the inmates and the sheriff department on how to get along a lot better, because the inmates live here and the sheriffs, me and Lieutenant was speaking about this the other day. He's doing time just like the inmates is doing time. He's spending a third of his life locked up. And Lieutenant's probably spending a lot more time. So we need to learn how to get together. The inmates have to, first we have to change their way of thinking, their mindset, so that they don't look at the sheriff and the deputies as enemies, because they're not the police. And I say, this is my saying, and I always say it, if you don't like what go on in jail, stop coming.
Now, Cassandra, she is just so talented, and it's great to have a female perspective on Ignite. And I just want you to hear from her for just a few seconds, is what she talks about getting the head and the heart right.
Hello, again, I'm Cassandra, Alvin's wife, and I just want to say, I did not know I was going to be here in this moment. Let's start with that. I just came to take pictures, but after listening to each and every person, of course, I know my husband's story, but listening to each one of them tell a little bit and listening to Chris in there, I just added my 2 cents in, and it does. It starts with the head, because you have to start here, and when you change the mindset, you'll be able to change the heart, right, of the parents, the children, the community, and when they see you putting in the work, you can change generations.
That's right.
Of health, of wealth, of thinking, so that you don't return to a place that you really don't want to be. So I'm here to lend all of the educational and financial help so that we can change minds, so we can change lives, and that'll be my role in Ignite.
That is awesome.
So I just want you to know that in the state of Michigan, just in the state penitentiaries, the state spends $2 billion incarcerating people. How much do they spend on incarcerating you?
I was over $1 million, about 1.2
1.8 million.
Now, I'm not saying what they did was right or wrong because they know it was wrong. They did their time because they did wrong. But what if we teach people never to get locked up and never put $2.8 million in two different people? And that's just two inmates. This is a guy right here who's a walking story of what education can do. Percy Glover, I met him when I was away, came back, and I went, what happened? And you got to hear this story.
I gotta say thank you. This is absolutely divine. My transition back to the community is a little different from Jonell and Troy.
Well, you paved the way, that's why.
Well, thank you. And Jonell always blesses me. He always calls me his mentor.
Absolutely.
Jonell is absolutely great. I am so proud of what we did this week. He was so committed, so focused, and just got the job done. I spent a little bit more than a decade in prison, and it's interesting how God works. I met Deputy Swanson when he was on 480B with Deputy Chair. Who would have ever thought almost 30 years later we would be collectively making a difference in the community inside of the Genesee County Jail? Again, this is divine. This is not the work of me, Chris, Jonell, Troy. This is divine. This comes from up top that creates this. Going back to what I was saying, I spent a little bit more than a decade in the Michigan Department of Corrections. The culture back then was a terribly unforgiving one. I've been out almost 18 years now. Actually, I'm coming up on my anniversary, December 31st. So I'll be out, will have been out 18 years coming this December 31st. The support you receive now, returning back to the community from a jail or prison, polar opposite then. You couldn't find a job. Nobody wanted to work with you. You were the outcast. And for me, it was such the intense struggle. I mean, I literally worked 3.5 part-time jobs to try to make it. I didn't have very much support coming back into the community. I didn't have any money, didn't have any resources. I didn't have references. I literally didn't have anything. And one of the processes for me to get on a better path is education.
That's right.
I walked away from prison. My mom and my aunt came and picked me up. First thing I said, I want food. I want some regular food. Next thing is, I want to see my sister. After that, I was headed to mine, signing up. I left prison that Friday, that Tuesday morning. I was a student in college.
Nice. Nice.
And it's a couple different things about education. Which is interesting. I want to share something, but I won't. I was blessed to be able to graduate with honors, transfer to the U of M, graduate with a bachelor's, transfer to Central Michigan, graduate with a master's, and the information is wonderful. But for me, it was developing those relationships I didn't have. That's it. Not to say that education didn't play a factor in my personal life or my professional life or develop me as a professional, absolutely. But developing those relationships that I didn't have, developing those people skills that I didn't have, understanding how to market myself as a professional by dealing with the instructors and dealing with, classmates. So for me, education has been everything. I understand how impactful it is for somebody that wants to go to a different place in life. Cassandra said it best. It starts with the attitude.
That's right.
And then it spills over from your heart.
That's right.
Into action. But you have to have the information. There it is. And that's what it all comes down to.
See, this one also wasn't there when he was in prison and got out, and that's called Ignite. This is a program, this whole facility is turned into an education facility. We're teaching inmates right now how to prepare food, how to be state licensed, how to be licensed with the health department, to leave here and go to any restaurant in the state of Michigan to be sous chefs and whatever they need. That's happening right now as we speak. But I got to tell you this amazing story. 2 weeks ago, I get a call from the warden down at Coldwater, Michigan. And he calls me up and he said, Sheriff, he said, I got to tell you, I've been doing this 22 years. And he goes, I've never seen anything like this. Every month I meet with my inmate legislatures, and each cell block has a representative. They have 1,500 inmates down there. And there was 30 of them. And at the end of the meeting, the warden tells me that they say, hey, we need a favor. And he says, what's that? He goes, and this is no attention on Chris. I'm just a delivery of the story. So he says, can you get a hold of Sheriff Swanson? And he goes, yeah, for what? He said, we are watching what they are doing in Genesee County, and we like to take a collection from us, the inmates, and give it back to Ignite. Now, who does that? But it gets better. So not only are we making arrangements to accept that gift from prisoners in Coldwater, Michigan, to come back here in memory of George Floyd, but through the Ignite program, there's one other added piece that's amazing. Why is that so amazing?
I
I'm going back to prison.
We're gonna go
back to
into
prison.
the prisons
That's right.
and not as prisoners,
That's right.
At that prison.
At
but
that
as
prison.
ambassadors. I resided there twice, so this is a major feat. This is one of the things that I never dreamed about because of the fact that you just do the work. That's it. You know what I'm saying? You're not looking for no accolades. You're not looking for that day. It's about, to me, service,
Yeah.
commitment, getting it done, you know, and making sure that whatever we do, man, Genesee County shines. That's what I'm all about. And everybody knows, man, I'm a Flint dude. I just can't stand it. I'm gonna do all I can possible for our residents. I'm gonna make sure that we represent
Yeah.
and that without a doubt or contradiction, 25 years or when they bury me and I'm gone, it's one thing that they'll say, man, them dudes did it. They did it
Yes,
big."
yes,
Right.
yes. So what you're going to see is something that is a great honor to me as the sheriff. I took my first oath of office when I was 18 years old, and I swore an oath to the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of Michigan, as a seasonal Marine deputy. And every time after that, every administration, I have taken an oath of office. The sheriff, under Constitution, is allowed the authority to deputize anybody they want to do the business of the sheriff. And there's no greater honor than it is for me to deputize these behind me in order to invest in other people. That's why this is the greatest job I've ever had. So you're going to witness this. It's going to be historic. This guy right here probably cannot believe that he's going to get a deputy sheriff ID card. And it is a testament to show that you can do whatever you want to do, no matter what has been served up in your life, if you make the decision and have the heart to get it done. Amen? That's it, man. You might see some tears here, baby. So if you would stand and at attention, raise your right hand and repeat after me. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
to uphold the Constitution of the United States
to uphold the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Michigan,
and the Constitution of the State of Michigan.
and I will faithfully discharge my duties
And I will faithfully discharge my duties
as a deputy sheriff
as a deputy
for
sheriff
the County of Genesee,
for the County of Genesee,
State of Michigan,
State of
to the
Michigan,
best of my ability.
to the best of my
So
ability.
help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, deputy. From off paper to on a card, man. That's awesome.
I'll figure it out.
Oh, man. I love you. I love you. Yes. That's it, man. They're gonna go get their IDs and get some good food for tonight. So thanks for tuning in. We got a lot to bring back to you.